Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350. This is the John Wristen Show. Let's join the voices of the pack, Jim Brooks and Joe Cervi, along with CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves head coach, John Wristen.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Car Pros John Wristen Show. Hello. Our new digs here.
Listen to this.
The Thunder Zone. Gotta love it, Joe.
I love it so far.
We got a new sponsor. We got a new digs. We got new food. And we got a lot of the same audience, which is good.
And the same old you and me.
Exactly. For how many years now?
This
18?
is way too many years.
Yeah, we've
but
been around a while.
The guest of honor, the namesake, John Wristen, he'll be here in just a few minutes. I just left him at practice. It was molting hot out there. This would be technically their Thursday night practice for a Saturday game. So it's kind of a rough night for them to get away. You know, it's almost like walkthrough night, and it's big speech night. We'll have to ask John what he tells the team tonight, because this is kind of his Thursday night prior to this. You know, this is kind of the calm before the storm night. And so his schedule is he goes, we should have done it last night. It'd be crazy, because that's when they're all worked up and the last physical thing. But tonight's the night with shorts and shirts, and I think that's him walking in the door right there.
There he is, the coach,
the head coach, John Wristen.
In through the outdoor. A little Led Zeppelin there. Wait till he sees the spread in front of him here with all of his appetizers inspired for the head coach, John Wristen. We'll get his headset on here. Tell you what we're eating here. We got the sausage sliders, we got some fried cheese, we got pretzels, and we got pork rinds, and a variety of sauces. Johnny, welcome.
Well, it's great to be here. If I'm huffing and puffing, I'm sprinting around, and what a great environment here.
Oh, it is. It is nice, and we got to thank everybody here. Ryan, of course, and
Chris, and everybody at Thunder's Home Pizza.
Getting us wired. We just plug into the wall now, Johnny. Look at this. Remember all the wires they used to have to run down? Just plug into the wall, and away we go.
Well, that means that you enjoy the food a little bit quicker than you have
exactly.
been in the past.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at this food.
One's missing already.
I noticed that.
Joe cannot resist.
One was missing when it came out. That was a 5-pack of...
Well, Joe, you had a little bit of a Freudian slip there when you said it's the calm before the storm. We don't want to think about the storm, because remember we had the storm last year on the road up there in Golden. We don't want any storms this week. Have you seen the weather forecast?
It's going to be perfect. It's going to be hot. Right. It's going to be hot, dry, hopefully raining points.
Okay, good. We got that out of the way.
Raining points, but I don't think weather's going to be a factor this year. Last year couldn't have been a more surreal game in the history of games. There was just one of those totally bizarre nights.
Yeah, it was scripted. It was scripted.
Yeah.
Without us knowing what the script was, and we were very, very. It's over with. I don't even want to talk about it. It's done with. I don't want to talk about it. I've had to deal with that for 363 days now. I'm anxious to see this 2017 go play. I'm excited for this group of guys, and I'm just ready to go play.
Well, thinking back to last year, a lot of things that went wrong, but this means things go right this year, because you get guys back. It's almost like getting new recruits, John, because you get Bernard McDonald back after the injury. You get Josh Croy back on the defensive line after he was lost for the year with the injury. So you got two big additions right there to go along with this team that I think is emerging is going to be pretty dynamite, especially on that defensive side of the ball. Just looks pretty inspiring right now.
Right now, I think that's the theory of it. And as a coach, you're trying to do everything you can to manage that and control the controllables and making sure you're ready. And I'm telling you, Jimmy, I'm really I think guys come out and watch us play, you're going to see a defense is pretty darn fast. And more from the defensive line to linebackers. I think our front seven's more athletic than we've ever been at. And
there's some guy named Wristen on that front line now.
Well, Michael's done a nice job of moving, making the transition. I think that's really a really natural position for him. He's tenacious. He runs to the ball. He's got long arms. I just couldn't get my tight ends were all stacked up, and they were probably our best 22, and it made sense. Michael was the best move for us to make, but I think Deion Sizer's done a nice job, and so has obviously Josh Croy. He's played a lot of football for us, and I'm glad we got him back.
Well, just looking forward to it. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, just talking about before you came in, I told our listening audience and the people here at the Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House that this is technically your Thursday night.
Yeah.
And this is kind of the calm before the storm, and you talk to the team. Everybody's in shorts and helmets today, so this is kind of a different night for you to come do something like this.
Yeah, this was a little strain on me today, to say the least. And I talked to my guys 48 hours before kickoff and try to talk to them and try to set the plan, try to give them an idea. Because I don't know, talking to them on Friday or before the locker room. If they're not ready to play by that time, I haven't done my job. And so I believe in trying to lay out the itinerary, exactly what we're going to do, where we're going to be, what time, the dress, and then I try to give them a little motivation talk. And so tonight, that's what I try to do, and try to time it up with practice and get over here enough time, and it almost worked.
Almost worked. I think it's pretty good. Now, are you sequestering them tomorrow night?
We are. No, we're doing our normal routine.
Okay.
They're on Wednesday. We have a 48-hour rule that there's no socializing, and we're going to do all the right things with that. And then I talked about how key our first game in the preparation, both in making sure you do the right thing with your body, drink enough water, have enough food into you, and be able to digest that. And then the other thing is I really talked about see it in your mind's eye, and I took them through their opening script about what plays they're going to run and being able to do it and visualize it. So I have to train them to be able to prepare versus just like I just show up. There's more of a process, because I think you can see it in your mind's eye, you can accomplish that. And if you don't see it in your mind's eye, it's a lot harder to accomplish. And that's my goal, is to make sure they see it in their mind's eye.
Well, you try to stress it each and every year. Each team is different. Even though you got guys returning from the last year's team, it's how they mesh with the new guys that are going to be in there. And you're, like you said, you're interested to see just how they get after. Now, I look back at last year. I thought last year's team struggled a little bit early on. As the season went on, they meshed. But early on, it seemed like a lot of I was out there instead of that E in team.
Well, I think that's one of the things that we stress from when the life of this team started. The life of this team started when we were able to beat Chattering here at home the second week in November, and we were home for Thanksgiving. And so we really stressed on whether we were performers or pretenders. And I think I did a real poor job last year about getting our team ready and understanding what happens. And I used the old adage, what I did, I assumed a lot of things. And when you assume, you get your butt beat like we did. And so I vowed to learn from my mistakes, and I think we've done everything we can to get this group going in the right direction.
People don't understand, and you've stressed it. You almost have to be perfect in Division II. The leeway you get in Division II to make the playoffs or to have a chance to get into the playoffs is not very much. And your openers last year, Colorado Mines, West Texas A&M, those are perennial programs that are pretty good. The same ones this year. You get Mines here, and you go, we'll talk. I can't wait till we talk about that. But that's that. They get the whole show at West Texas in a couple weeks here. So we'll focus on Mines. But you have to take the spring, the summer workouts, the off season, trusting your guys since you can't have any contact with them, and know that the first game out, you have to be supremely ready to play. I mean, there's no margin for error.
Well, you could have said it any better. I stressed it for the last.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night.
But the reality of this, it's a sense of urgency, and if you don't have a sense of urgency about playing for the team on the front of your jersey, not the name on the back, things are going to get after you. And we set the standard in this program. I think we set the standard for the RMAC about what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to play. Last year, we didn't. Last year was a bunch of, to me, we weren't a team. But you know what? I am proud of that team because,
they rallied.
We had adversity, and we could have folded our tent, but they had enough character to fight through. But I think there were some little lessons that you had to learn to be able to pass down from generation to generation. We call that leave your legacy. Leave your legacy in your program. Leave that legacy about the way you play and making sure that people remember that name because your legacy is outstanding.
Well, in this ball club going in, we talked about the defense. Of course, there's been on the offensive side a big battle this year at quarterback. I got asked that. Who's the starting quarterback? I saw the depth chart, but do you know yet, John? Do you know who's going to start on Thursday night?
I know who's going to start.
Can you tell us?
No.
Okay. See that he's
why don't you come out to the game to find out?
Well, Harbaugh he left Michigan to come coach CSU Pueblo. The depth chart has got Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and Daisy Duke and
it's part of the fact that to me. We're very lucky here at CSU Pueblo to have a media following. We have a social. We have the Recorder Group. We have our radio show. A lot of Division II. Oh, sorry. We have the
Pueblo Chieftain.
He's been with you since day one.
Excuse me. I just overlooked the most obvious.
Yes,
there.
thank
Sorry. I didn't want to go there, but no, thank you. Really, I mean, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
It's fun though because we've been together since day one, and we came to some agreements that I didn't do injuries until game day. Right, because people look at that, and you can't, even like back when Kearney was in the conference, the Kearney Hub did a pretty good job of covering Kearney. That might have been the only other one in Mesa, maybe. Well,
it's like you've always told me. It says I've called the coach to get a story.
Right.
Well, no one calls me. Right. No one covers yet. So, in the retrospect about naming the quarterback, we have 3 outstanding kids. They've done an excellent job of battling for this job. I've made a decision, and we're going to wait till Thursday at 6 p.m. to find out who that is. And that's the way it's going to be. And I could have tipped my hand the way we're going, but I didn't. And because I wanted to give all those kids the best opportunity to go compete at a high level. I didn't want to give Mines anything. And so each one of those kids did a great job of competing, and they were due that opportunity.
You know what I love about this, though, is that's different for you.
It is.
I mean, John is a very much I'll tell you how it is. This is the way it is. I'm not paranoid. He's probably the least paranoid of the coaches I've ever covered in any sport,
right?
Which is kind of fun. But he even talking to him about this is a little bit of a stretch for him to keep his mouth closed about certain things. And when we talk about it, it's like, I want to tell you, but. And then he just would not finish his sentence. So I know this is a little bit out of the norm for you.
Well, I am who I am, and I wear my feelings on the sleeve, and I try to be as truthful and honest to you guys as I can, because I believe that's what Pack fans want, and I want them to be appreciative of our kids and our program. And the only way you do that is by looking people in the eye and telling the truth.
All right, we're going to go to our first time out because we got a lot of food here in front of us. We need to get a little nourishment in this, so we're energized for segment number 2. It is the happy hour during the week, 3 to 6 p.m., and then again at 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. each and every day here at the Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House.
Well, and I told them that they said John comes to the show right after practice. He's usually a little bit hungry, so if we could have something to nosh on while we do the show. And Chris and Ryan brought the house.
Well, I'm glad you guys ordered for me. I'm not you guys at all. Don't.
This is all for you, Coach.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I've been there before with you two.
Well, I'm hearing great reviews about the Chicago pizza.
Well,
people love that.
Hey, the sausage slider, fantastic.
I had pizza Friday night. I had a sausage and pepperoni and chili peppers.
Here.
Yeah, took it home.
Sure,
I got it. They cooked it up. Went home.
Perfect.
Annihilated it.
My father-in-law really recommended the Philly cheesesteak. That's he said it was really good.
There's a lot of things on tap, food-wise, as well as
and the beer we have.
Beer looks great over there.
One of the taps. One of the taps is Lost Highway Brewing Company out of Denver. That's Jamie Pachorik and his wife Tina Bergman. They own the brewery up in Denver, and they got a tap here, and they're going to rotate some beers, and that's nice Pueblo tie out of there. So it's Lost Highway Ale tonight.
Cool. We'll have to try that later on. We're professional.
Yes,
we have to wait a little bit. This is the Car Pros. John Wristen Show. We'll be back after this timeout on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
Welcome back to Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House.
Wow.
It is the Car Pros John Wristen Show here for 2017. Are we having a problem? Well, we'll have to find out. Caitlin, I've been told we're not on the radio, so Caitlin, you better get us on the radio there.
We might be on. We might not. We pretend like we aren't.
Okay, we just keep going, and hopefully they get it fixed there.
Hey, we got smoke signals.
It could be. Okay, it could be the iHeart application, so we'll have to see if they got to change over the iHeart application. But we are on. If you're driving in your car, you hear this. But we'll get that taken care of. But anyway, Car Pros John Wristen Show, we are back. Colorado Mines is the opponent this week, John, and we said we don't want to think about last year, but they are one of the co-defending champions of the conference, and that's one area where college football probably has an advantage over professional football, is because your biggest game of the year in college can be the first game. It's that way in a lot of venues across this nation this weekend, and this is the big game.
Well, it's one of the 11 that we got to go play. You know, we're only guaranteed 660 minutes to play this season. And my job is to get these guys to understand that we have to play every single minute, every second of every minute to be able to have a chance to go where we want to go. And I'm more motivated and more excited about this group of guys. And I hope everybody comes out wearing red. You know, one of the things that I just wanted everybody to be aware of, Thursday night, the ASG, our Associated Student Government, and is sponsoring a drive to help everybody down in Houston. And so if you got old shoes, clothes, toiletries, canned food at this game, we would love to have everybody in this Red Out game be able to bring something and they're going to drive it down. The ASG is going to drive it down. So I thought it was great that we could help out our fellow Americans and help the devastation down in Houston. Maybe we're going to help someone, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, they've already postponed one big game down there. Stephen F. Austin, somebody down there.
Well, and there's a Division II game going to play Wednesday night because of it. Washita Baptist and somebody's going to play Wednesday night. They moved their game up to free some people up so that they can do all that. So it's devastating. I mean, anybody's ever been to Houston to realize that place is underwater. Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. I mean, it's not that kind of city, and it's underwater. But but hopefully, Mines Thursday night. You know, that's just part of the thing. You're going to have a good crowd. You're going to unveil the new scoreboard. You're going to have some new coordinators. Talk about, John, your new staff. You got some not just – we'll get to the players here and the keys to the game and stuff in the next segment or two segments. Talk about the energy that your new staff has brought to this program, because I see it every day.
Right. You know, I think that, first of all, I'm excited for Hunter Hughes and JT Haddon and DeAndre Cooper that are down at West Texas. But, you know, change is good. And we've embraced change. Change has been able to help reevaluate what we're doing. And Mark Kreiner's come in and been a co-defense coordinator with Donnell Leamidi. Donnell Leamidi has been with me from day one. And he's a special coach. He's a special part of this program and the success of it. He and Mark have done a tremendous job of matching up what we've done in the past with the new things we're going to do. And so I really like that direction. Herman Smith has come in and been our defensive line coach. Herman was a MVP of the Canadian League, graduated from Portland State. You guys will hear him on game day. He's going to be energetic. He's going to be positive. He coaches with fire. How about I hired him 24 hours before spring ball was going to come. He was at Oklahoma Baptist, which was approximately a 9-hour drive. He drove it all night, was here the first practice at 7 in the morning. And I walked out the building and said that was the best practice I've seen a defensive line at. He didn't know what he's doing, but he was energetic. He was able to identify with the kids, and he loves his players. So I think that's a big addition. I think another big addition that we have that's kind of gone unnoticed, this is the first time that we haven't had a Sewell coaching with us. We don't have a Steve or Sammy that's coached running backs. And so I'm really excited to have a guy named Pete Brown. Pete Brown is Dave Brown, my quarterback coach's brother. He was at Louisville the last couple of years. He was at Iowa State. He was at Nevada, Reno. And he's been able to bring some new concept, new ideas to us. And I'm excited about that staff that we've been able to put together.
You know what I notice about these guys is they're high energy. I mean, they don't have to come out of their shell. They come right up to you. Hi, how you doing? What's your name? What are you doing here? And then the way they coach, they run around with the players. They get in there. I mean, it's hard to see guys that jump around like they do, and they're getting in stances. They're teaching by showing, and it's you can tell the players are excited. And the players I've talked to a man have enjoyed the newcomers.
Well, it's been a great change, and change, like I said, is good, and we've embraced it. And one of the most stressful off seasons I had was this year, being able to reevaluate what we're doing. And then the second thing is when you go hire people, are they the right match? And that's hard to figure out what is the right chemistry that you have. But I'm very proud of everybody we brought in our program to be able to be a part of that. So,
well, you talked about it, John. You've talked about a lot. Change is good. You like change. And you've got a lot of that.
A certain amount of change.
Yeah, you don't want to go whole-sale change.
Not only chump change.
But
chump change. There you go.
Yeah, you kind of get. Look at maybe you get
defensive end just walks in.
Maybe you get stale
looks at the place and then walks out.
Yeah. One wrist in, one wrist out. But you get some fresh ideas, don't you? Kind of when you get some guys
you just have to reevaluate everything, Jimmy. I know this. It really, when you go and you're kind of like in the forest, you see all the trees all the time. It's no big deal. And then sometimes when you have change, you don't see the trees. And I use that as an example because I had to go reteach everything that we believe in and what we've established this program. And we had some great discussions about why are you doing this? Instead of, just because we did it last time, we're going to be status quo and keep doing it. And I think that was one of the most enjoyable experiences that I've had in a long time about being able to go share ideas, gather their ideas, and let's come up with this best idea for this 2017 team.
Well, not only that, you mentioned it just a second ago, is you're taking what's worked in the past. I mean, this team's a winning program from day one, a national championship caliber program. So it's not like you're taking an 0-10 team or 0-11 team and trying to figure out what to do. You're taking an established program with some tried and true methods and trying to make those even better.
Well, I think that, you always got to keep looking. You always got to keep evaluating. And so I think we do have a simple staple of a formula. You got to have your core values. You got to be able to say, this is what I believe in defensively. And it doesn't have to be 10 things. You know what I want to be in defensively? I want to be sound. I don't want to beat ourselves. And I want to see 11 guys running the ball. Okay? There's a lot of different coverages you could call. But if you don't coach it and you don't teach it that way, you won't get it accomplished. Offensively, we're going to be physical. We're not going to beat ourselves. And then we're going to take shots when we have to. You got to manage the game offensively. And then special teams, you got to be special. I want to make big plays in that. That's a chance that you have to have an opportunity to go make big plays on special teams. Because that's where the makes or breaks always happen in special teams, especially first game. You're going to have some opportunities there that you maybe thought you had covered, but it's not covered. And then all of a sudden, you're going, oh, wow, I didn't think of that. So those things happen in first games.
All right, we're going to go to another timeout here. We are at the Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. We have these beautiful order, although Joe Cervi has eliminated another sausage slider.
They're good.
Here, Joe, here's a napkin.
They're good. I don't need napkins.
You realize he doesn't have to do this part of the show.
We don't need
I lead into the next
napkins.
break. I'm kind of looking for that fried cheese there. That looks pretty good. But
That's very good.
I'm really looking forward to a cold beverage.
How about the Nardini sponsoring us, the Car Pros? I really appreciate them shouting out and being a part of it. And we're going to have to get them on one of these nights.
If we take Doug Nardini, you, me, and Brooksy, I'll take our chances in a 4-man scramble.
Well, I'll be the lead dog to show you guys how to putt then.
There you go, and we'll use Doug for our. He's a nice mellow guy on the golf course.
Well, I know him, but I've never played with him. He's a legend.
He's just waiting to go.
He's like Volcano.
He's a Volcano senior. He's Volcano senior.
All right, there's a name drop for you, former Thunderwolf. But we are here at the Thunder Zone. It's Car Pros John Wristen show. I have been told they're having a iHeart Media issue. They're efforting to fix that, but
we're on the radio.
Well, we're on the radio. If you're driving around in your car, welcome.
And we're on here.
And we're here, so that's half the battle, I guess. But we'll check out, see what's going on with the iHeart thing. But anyway, it's above our pay grade. But we'll be back after this timeout. Come join us, even after hours, here at the Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House on the Car Pros John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo.
The John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
Welcome back to the Car Pros John Wristen Show. We are here at Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House.
We're getting claps.
Yeah, that's nice. Right adjacent to the Thunder Bowl, of course.
Here's to you, Mrs. Robinson.
Yes, exactly.
I just like saying that.
That is kind of, that brings back good memories. I'm looking at a scene now.
Dr. Dave was our host Friday.
Oh, man, that was a great time at the golf tournament.
CSU Pueblo Packed Athletics Golf Tournament. Dr. Dave hosted you and I.
Yeah.
He must have.
And he was the best player. He hired some A player, but I was a B-, but he was A. He was spot on.
He is an A player.
You know what I love about playing at the country club, though, with members? Is they drive the cart wherever they want. They got the cart pass, but members go wherever they want. They just drive it.
Burgles is a character.
Yeah, they just drive it wherever they want. And I'm like, I'm not used to that. I'm used to going where you're supposed to go. And these guys are just like, we go here. I was like, all right.
Yeah, we're finding out that the iHeart Media app they screwed something up there.
Good, so they mean
Norton's efforting, trying to fix it. But the good news is we record it, and I put it back out there tomorrow. So people that missed the genre, even if you're here and you want to hear the show all over again, tomorrow I put it on the YouTube channel. It's good to hear.
It's an hour they can't get back.
That's right, because why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
It's an hour they need to be a part of that.
Well, one thing that's great about this place now, we're going to have a fantasy football draft here on Monday. Now, I know, John, NCAA rules, you can't do fantasy football, which is kind of weird because it's a pro game. Why can't he do fantasy? But, Rick Neuheisel.
Gambling.
Rick Neuheisel screwed that
Ruined
up
it for everyone.
Exactly.
Who called the CSU game on Saturday, by the way. I ran into Coach Neuheisel in the new stadium up in Fort Collins Saturday. That was a little odd, him calling a CSU game.
What a great environment it seemed up there.
Fun. It was they did a really nice job with that stadium, and CSU Pueblo, the beneficiary, getting the scoreboard that'll be unveiled on Thursday night. It's just neat. I went there a long time ago, and I have kids that go there now, and you can't beat an on-campus stadium. I mean, that's just the way it is, and so I think that they got it right, and it's really fun.
We're very lucky that the CSU system was able to work with
Absolutely.
us. The Friends of Football were able to work together, and our CSU Pueblo administration were able to get one of the best scoreboards in all of Division II football.
And it's beautiful. I can't wait for people to see it Thursday night, because they're going to look up there and not realize. People are looking at it from 300 yards away going, oh, that's really nice. You're 300 yards away, and you can see that's how good it is.
Yeah, and that's good. They're going to have replay.
And the sound system, John?
It was funny. This summer we were meeting as staff, and our offices are facing the Thunder Zone here, and I thought a car drove by that had a very good speaker, and then it was listening. I said, guys, do you realize that's the stadium speaker? And then I found out it was only on 3 or 4.
Oh, they haven't pumped it up yet.
No. So,
well, I was over here today with Scott Richards, and who's going to be producing all the video stuff, and we were checking out our line and our connections.
Replay.
And we'll be good for Thursday night to broadcast the game. Plus, our audio is used on the Stretch Internet feed. And
there will be 18 cameras and angles of replay for the Mesa game. I'm just saying, Gene Bauman, there'll be 18 cameras of replay for the Colorado.
Yeah, we got a drone camera.
There will be so many replays that you won't be able to get away with anything.
Well, guys, that was 2016.
I know,
so
but
we need to move forward here.
We get digs anytime we can, brother. Because we can. You have to kind of...
Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
You get the company line.
Because we like to do it.
Right.
Well, let's start transitioning into this ball game for Thursday night and talk about things here. Now, Mines has lost their great quarterback, Dvorak. He's finally graduated. He served 8 years there at Mines, I think, and he's finally gone. Kind of remind me of Spitzelberger when he was at Kearney. Is the guy ever going to leave?
Well,
and he's finally gone.
To that kid's credit, we saw him the first game. And then he led that team to win a playoff game.
Right.
And then he played a really tough Ferris State team up there. And he was very, very proficient. He knew how to operate that offense. They got a great system up there. And he went on to win the Heisman Trophy for Division II.
Right.
And I don't know if everybody understands, but what a quite an honor for that.
Well, he's a nice kid, too.
He's unbelievable. But, we've had some really good players. And here at CSU Pueblo, we've had Defensive Player of the Year, runner-up before. But we haven't had anybody be a Harlan Hill. Cam McDonald was the closest one.
Right.
But this kid won it.
Right.
And it was quite a feat for him, and I'm very proud of him and to be able to compete. I'm proud of the RMAC. But there's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to seeing this kid out of Georgetown, Texas.
Yeah, Benjamin Bottlinger is the new starting quarterback for Carter School of Mines. They lost a lot of their offensive line, so I think it was a senior-dominated line.
It was a senior-dominated
But they brought a couple guys. They don't usually bring in some transfers, but they did bring in a couple of linemen, didn't they?
They did, and I talked to Greg Brandon today, the head coach at Mines, and he was kind of inquiring about quarterback situation. And I said, well, how did yours play out? And he told me that Bottlinger, he goes, it was close. He said we weren't sold on a guy yet. We were hoping one guy. He said it just kind of played out that these are our guys, and we're going to ask them a lot because we're not going to throttle back. We're not conservative up here in terms of our play call. We can't because of what we do. So we gave him the keys and said, okay. But he said this kid won it outright by a smidgen, And I said, well, welcome to Division II college football.
Exactly.
Well, I think that this kid is set behind Justin for a year and was able to do that. I do know he's a very talented athlete, a very talented thrower. I saw him on high school tape, and they're going to be able to. He's going to be good. And when you got they got outstanding receivers. Number 15, Brody Oliver, who's RMAC preseason player of the year. And then Riley Hoff, number 6. He's a guy I'm having nightmares about. And we got to cover him. We got to make sure that a quarterback knows that there's going to be a fine window to throw that through. There's going to be a small window to be able to throw that through. And if we do that, we're going to really test this freshman quarterback. If not, he's going to pick us apart.
Well, I think the guy that I felt most sorry for last year, or just felt bad for last year, was Emory Taylor. I mean, here was a freshman starting at corner, the first game of the season against that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
And Justin Dvorak kind of just picked it apart. But I've been watching Emory Taylor a little bit closer than usual this camp, and I think he's ready.
Well, he's had a little chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
He's had to play that way. He's a little pit bull mentality, and I think that good things are going to happen for Emory.
Well, we'd like to welcome some new people to our audience. They've got the iHeart situation taken care of. Ken Frantic has joined the show.
All right.
So he was very upset with me.
Was he frantic?
He was frantic. Frantic. That's his new nickname. He was frantic. And I kept telling him, hey, I'm recording it. You won't miss anything. You'll get the other half.
Well, John's not going to tell us who his starting quarterback is.
Yeah,
but whoever it is going to hand the ball off to Austin Michi and Bernard McDonald and talk
some
about
new guy.
This is my favorite story so far, and I haven't written about it yet because I kind of want him to do something. But Marche Denard is back, and if people don't understand, Marche Denard was a running back 3 years ago. Well, technically, 3 seasons ago. He played in the national championship team in 2014, but he sat out 2015 and 16. He came back with muscles and dreadlocks.
He was always a yoked up guy, but he's really yoked up now.
Yeah.
And he went down back to Arizona. He comes from a football family. Preston Denard, his uncle, and so. He was just trying to find himself, and sometimes it takes a while. But you know what I thought was very impressive? He called us, says, "Coach, I want a chance to come back. I want a chance, an opportunity." And looked at some of the things he had to do. He had to go and graduate from a JC to be able to come back, and he did that. And so he's been very humble. He's hungry. He's got a great work ethic, but he's got a great demeanor about him. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing him grow and helping young kids grow. He's such a vital leader, and he's going to be a big role on our special teams. And so, Marche Denard, I'm glad you brought him up.
I just think it's kind of neat that people who are used to Pac football, it's going to be a stingy, fast, hard-hitting defense. You got 4/5 of your starting offensive line back. They're all seniors. They're all good. And then you got this powerhouse running back, maybe the best tight end in the country, and some receivers that I know the receiver. Mark Herring doesn't say anything, and he's excited about his receivers. He goes, "Joe, we got 7. 7.
That's nice."
I said, he goes, "No, I got 7." And he was Mark doesn't get excited about. He's a pretty low key guy, and he's like a kid in a candy store right now. So offensively, it's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, I think that we've really went on a great ability to. Hello, how are you? And
train of thought gone.
We were able to. I want people to come out and see what the upgrade that we've had at wide receiver is. More my point. I thought last year we were very below average, but we have a couple of those kids come back, but they worked even harder and they raised their game. And so,
well, and one of them's Kevin Rich from East. He's on the first. I believe he's listed as a starter. I don't know if he was a starter.
Yes, he's going to start.
And O'Shea Washington to me looks.
Yeah, he looks ready.
He looks ready to play.
Yeah, he's had a great camp. It was funny. O'Shea was a JC kid, and he came in here, and there was always we never saw things eye to eye, and we had a really great talk when he came back to school, and I'm proud of how he's matured. I'm proud how he's been able to buy in. I had to learn stuff from him too. I didn't always handle things right, so I think that's when you have a respect that you have to manage that between your players, that you respect to be able to understand that. And we moved forward, and I see the results because of that.
But he can catch a football, and
he's been very, very, very instrumental in our leadership, and so I'm proud of him.
All right. Good news there. We come back after this final break. I've got a couple questions people have sent in. If you've got a question for John, you can come over here to the hot mic. We got a hot mic if anybody has a question for John, by the way.
Well, I just want to say the Thunder Zone is throwing a great party for this show. Yeah. And I appreciate all the people here. It's been a wonderful experience. And it's unbelievable the opportunity that people have been here. So I want to shout out for you guys. Appreciate everybody coming to the Thunder Zone and sponsoring this show.
All right, good deal. Come back after this timeout. We'll take some of those questions. If you have a question for John, want to text it to me, 671-7574. That's 671-7574. We got 3 of them lined up for you. And I've got one also that somebody gave me earlier.
How about Dax Larson just came in with
exactly.
Our SID with his 2 lovely girls who are on the radio.
Looks like he's got our credentials, too. We'll be able to get into the joint. That's always good.
That's always nice.
It's always troublesome getting past the parking Nazis. They won't let you by. But once you get by there, you get to the stadium, it's nice. But
Look, I look like
the
Mr.
parking
T.
lot.
Hey, we got some of the old regulars at the Wristen show, so I expect some questions from the crowd.
All right, come back. The hot mic is ready. This is the Car Pros John Wristen Show. We are at Thunder Zone Pizza and Tap House. Back after this timeout on Fox Sports Pueblo.
John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo 1350.
And the music means we are back on here. Car Pros John Wristen Show. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for coming on out here, our premiere show of the year. Now, remember, next week, back to Wednesday. So this is a special show tonight, Tuesday night, this week only. But from here on out, the rest of the year will be on Wednesday nights, right here, 6 o'clock on Fox Sports Pueblo. We'll be right back here, same place, same time, for the Car Pros John Wristen Show. And we move into some of the questions here. What's your most memorable moment at the Thunder Bowl, John, in the 10 years?
Wow. I think there's really the first game has a lot of meaning to me. And just think that what we did in 13 months, talk about pressure. You know, we have 10,000 people here, and they expect you to compete for the Super Bowl, and which is fine. But credit to those kids that went out and battled. We beat Panhandle State. Fireworks were going off. And I remember the first play that we scored on was 26 power. And we gave it to Gray, and he got in. There was probably the most... I think the first playoff game meant something to me. When we played Minnesota Duluth, it was really a cold day. It was we thought we were ready to take the step. But our kids, we had a chance, but we jumped off. Remember, I always talk about, and that's what I talked about tonight, the things that really make the difference happen before the snap and after the snap. And that game, remember, we jumped off sides. We had them 4th and 1. And Duluth defended national champs. We had a chance. The last game that I think this one is the West Georgia game. The West Georgia game.
That's my favorite.
I think the crowd was really special. It was into it. That was a dogfight. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I'm talking to the officials before the game in my office, and I had called around, and I said, these guys try to intimidate us, so I try to prepare our guys from the other coaches. And there's our guys. They were going toe-to-toe on the 50-yard line. Here we go. We're getting out there. And I said, look, that's what I'm talking about. Look, go out there. So I ran out there as fast as I can. It took me 2 days, but I ran out there as fast as I can, make sure we didn't get anybody thrown out. And then it got to calm down, but the way we competed, man, and LaVon Floyd came up with the big play at the end, interception, and we blocked the kick, extra point, and we drove it down the first series and went up 3-0, and at that time I go, those 3 points are going to be so big in that. Then we came up with the play that got us to the national championship.
The best part about that was, maybe other than Grand Valley State last year, that West Georgia team was, that might have been the best team athletically I've seen you play in 10 years. In terms of physical teams and in terms of looking at an opponent, Minnesota Duluth that year that you talked about, that team taught you how to get bigger and stronger because you had to.
Right.
But in terms of just pure athletes across the board, West Georgia was as good as I've seen.
Okay, Johnny, Uncle Charlie checking in. He's looking forward to seeing you this next week down in Amarillo. He'll be tuned in watching on the Stretch Internet feed. He just wants to say he feels another championship coming on in his bones.
Well, I appreciate Uncle Charlie, and keep drinking that juice, okay? Keep drinking that juice.
Go. And Tundra's mommy checking in, a little disturbed that the iHeart application wasn't working earlier, but I soothed her, told her I'm going to put the copy of it on later, so you won't miss anything. But she wants to know. The unveiling of the new scoreboard, what is your feelings about that? We kind of touched on it earlier, but kind of retouch on that.
I think for your admission ticket coming in and watching a game is added to your value of being a Pac football fan. And it just, I think is the final missing piece for this to be a big-time stadium for big-time fans to watch a big-time team play.
And then are there any special challenges keeping the players from watching the replays on the screen? How do you just adjust to that? Or that's just natural. You want to look up and see what happened on that play.
Well, you can't get pissed off at a coach there watching it. And so you got to manage it a little bit different. But I think we'll figure out how that's going to work. I don't know if I am concerned about it, but I do think you got to be aware of it, and then you got to focus on the next play.
Then I heard this, by the way, today on Fox Sports Pueblo, but somebody else sent me they said they didn't want to be known, but they heard the same question. They're asking Mark Schlereth on the show that comes on 3 to 6. Steve Gorman Sports.
Well,
and want to know if you had to go hunting in the woods for a grizzly bear, which former Thunderwolf or current Thunderwolf would you want by your side if you had to go hunt down a grizzly bear with your bare hands?
Ryan Jensen.
Okay, perfect.
Ryan Jensen, I want on my side no matter what.
That'd be a good choice right there.
And he knows how to hunt.
Big Red, with his bare hands even.
He goes hunt for javelina without a rifle. So
all right.
And how about Ryan, though, starting?
Yes, he is.
Baltimore Ravens.
We got 1 minute left. Anybody want question? Bugman?
Bugman has no questions. Bugman has all the answers.
He says the show's over. I got to beat the traffic.
All right, listen, don't pick on me.
I think John.
We're not picking on
if you had to say keys to the game.
Yeah.
This is
just straight up keys.
Yeah, we got about a minute to go here.
Well, I think in early games the key is fundamentals, blocking and tackling. 2 is that we have to manage and keep everything in front of us. Okay, defensively, and rally to the ball. And then the third thing is offensively, just make sure you play against one team. And you guys have heard that from them before.
No, it's new.
And so when you play against one team, that means you're only playing against Colorado School of Mines. Last year we didn't do that. And our guys have been understand it. That's what we expect. And so that's what I believe is kicking game. I mean, the keys to victory. The last part of that is the kicking game.
We didn't even talk about you got a kicker for the first time. Got a kick for
Well, we'll talk about that next week. You know what? It's time to, Joe, I'm cutting you off because I got to get us out of this show. All right. Going to thank Chris and Ryan. Everybody here at Thunder Zone Pizza. Caitlin Norton's been our producer and engineer here tonight of the John Wristen Show. We thank everybody for turning out here tonight for the show and hope you come back again next week. Remember, we're on next Wednesday. Thursday night's game, 5:30 pregame show, 6 o'clock kickoff right here on Fox Sports Pueblo. For the head coach, John Wristen, for my partner, Joe Cervi, for Caitlin Norton, for everybody here at the Thunder Zone, this is Jim Brooks bidding you good night.
Go Pack!
Thanks for listening to the John Wristen Show on Fox Sports Pueblo, 1350. Tune in again next week at the same time for all things CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves football. Only on Fox Sports 1350, KCCY Pueblo.